So there's Kevin, Tony, John, Paul, George, Ringo, Grimace, Siegfried, and Roy.
What are you doing?
I'm just counting the names of my many lovers.
Joe, God's sake.
Any of you boys interested in some cheap rosé and a bucket of chicken wings? Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Marc's around. Say hi, Marc.
Hey everybody!
And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Either welcome or welcome back and happy Saturday. It's the weekend. You know what that means? I put real stuff in my coffee. Actually, this is Coffee Mate plain. And the coffee is Awareness Coffee Company. This was a gift, no sponsors. And they donate to different nonprofits, charities, causes. And this one happened to be mental health awareness. So, and it's very good. It reminds me of 8 o'clock black and tan, or maybe dark roast. Try it out. So thank you everyone. I'm glad you're here. Hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's safe. I am here to talk about our fair lady, Chantal. Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, The Chantal Show, Chantal, and Foodie Beauty again. We got the name changes I was anticipating, but she did like 8 of them in like a couple. Google only lets you go in and change that name only so many times. So I don't know about that, but we did get the name change that I was holding out for. So last week we weren't here. We didn't meet. Life happens. Sometimes good life happens, and that's what was going on. So we didn't film. We did do a live on Sunday where we talked a little bit about Foodie Beauty, but not in detail because it was more of just like hanging out and talking. So we are going to pick up... enough already. We're going to pick up with, she's got a couple... We're still on the tail end of her making up guys to make Natter jealous because Natter really cares. So, a little bit of talking on that. Aside from her usual smug self-centeredness, I thought she was particularly obnoxious or entitled about a couple things this week where people who live in glass pancake houses shouldn't throw stones. So, Natter, is he over it? Is he over-entertaining her? Has he had his fill? You know, there was comments, it's only going to be over when he says it's over. But who would turn down free money? Is it worth the cost? Ugh. I'd rather babysit a pit bull, but it's not, I don't know, a rabid pit bull. Not just pits. Pits are fine on their own. So, we'll talk about Natter a little bit, and then what's next? What's coming forward? So, the men of Chantal's boudoir. It reminds me of the Golden Girls, the men of Blanche's boudoir. She made a calendar up. So Chantal's frequenting hotel rooms. She was in and around Montreal. And she says it's for a night out, or I don't have to tell you, or it's with a special friend. These special friends are her and her phone sitting in an empty, cheap motel, hoping Natter will realize she is in town and that he'll come over and try to entice him with alcohol and cigarettes. So I don't think he did come over. These other dates where she said she's going to go and didn't go, she was like hem-hawing about it. She had a gentleman friend who was 22, I believe, 22. I always think when there's an age gap, it doesn't always mean anything. Marc's 12 years older than I am, but she's 38 and he's 22. I would like to say there are different stages of life, but depending on what he's doing with his 22-year-old self, he might be much farther along than her. So, I mean, age isn't a big deal. If you saw a 40-year-old guy with a 22-year-old girl, I'd probably go, but that's their choice to make. They can do as they like. Do I suspect that he was compensated a bit for his performance? She said they slept together, and then OnlyFans, you know. She was very casual. Oh, we just had sex, or hooked up, if I should say. Do I believe it? I don't think it happened organically. I think there was some other exchange besides sex if it did happen. Just saying. Usually money. She throws her money around and then totally expects something in return for it, too. So, she couldn't entice Natter to come visit at the hotel. And then the next day, we have a new man she's looking to marry. Because she thinks it'll make him jealous or territorial. He's a territorial, I think, Natter type of person. But I don't and never got the impression that he was territorial or protective towards her. He'd let anyone online say anything to her, and she'd ask him to defend it, and he'd go, shrug his shoulders, and have some more lasagna with lime. So, Natter's not going to get jealous. Not enough to do anything about it. He's still staying at Dee Dee's. She swooped right in and took your man. That sucks, but it happens. It happens to other people. It's not just Chantal who can't do a relationship well. So she's, and then jilted at the other woman. Now, mind you, we're playing within this fake world where Chantal and Natter are really like a couple. And the fact that he would spend the night at Dee Dee's house once, twice, and then she moved in for a month because he knew if she moved in, she'd stay away. Chantal wouldn't come over. I don't know. I think Natter had said that he and Dee Dee aren't anything special. He might have told her to shut up, might have made a comment about her looks once or twice, but it's not to the degree that he is with Chantal, because I don't know that he's in love with Dee Dee or if they're just having a good time, but he seems to respect her more than Chantal. He's not respectful, period, but he's less disrespectful towards Dee Dee than he is towards Chantal. But Chantal provides fodder for that. You know, you're not going to call me 40 times a night and then tell me I'm stalking you. Please. Whatever helps you sleep at night, bitch. So, younger companion. I said that's okay. Nader's not beholden to you at all, because even if you were in a relationship, it lasted a week. It does not matter what you tell us. There's two of you, and he's the one who looks, somehow you've moved him into being a sympathetic character, where people are now casting guys at Natter, which, I don't know, if you want to go circumstance by circumstance, leave me the fuck alone. I wouldn't tolerate being called this often, show up at my house, peek in windows, do all that shit. Like, that's grimy, that's weird, it's not normal, it's not cutesy, it's not I'll do anything for love, a la Will Smith. It's something very stupid to anyone watching, except the person involved. So, I don't know. People don't have to love us just because we give them money, or because we want them to. It's, she tantrums when she doesn't get what she wants, and then she'll very predictably slip into another side note, another conversation about something. If Natter's upcoming court date, what's going on with May, the woman who he's having court troubles with. Chantal alibying a guy who she said hits her. So, he slapped her in one community post, and then he hit her in another. And he hit her in the arms. Now, mind you, when we found out about this, it was sex bruises. They were defended. They were sex bruises. So she was trying to, kind of bury what had actually gone on, I think. She probably buried it initially because she didn't want to be embarrassed, but she's unburdened by shame. So when it all came out, her version of what came out, allegedly here, when this all came out, she was trying to paint herself as the one who was like, look what happened to me, look how wronged I was. I paid for all his drugs and he still wouldn't sleep with me. You're not really making your case here. Just because I accept money from you doesn't mean that I'm going to date you. Exactly. If you want to pretend and tell yourself that, sure, but don't treat the poor Marc like he's I don't know. I don't think she knows when to leave people alone. Like, she can't let it go. She can never just let it go. She has to have the last word. She has to have the last this. Going online to him. If you got something to say it to my face. You're not mad. You just want to see him face to face. That's like some dumb bullshit. You got to say it to me face to face? Don't sound so excited. Okay? This is a man who allegedly had done all these horrible things to her that she covered for. Then said he did. Then went to the police saying he did. And then dropped the charges, only to be back, I'm sorry. Wasting police time, wasting his time. Lots of people have YouTube channels. I wouldn't call this entertainment, but I do kind of follow week to week what happens because I gotta see how this plays out. I gotta see the end of this. I have to. If I have to make reactions about her for the next 8 years. Something. I know. I just turned 40. My time's looking a little shorter now. So I don't have less time for some horse shit. But I do like watching her videos, actually, sidebar, just to do the commenting on them. Because, I don't know, I see a lot of myself in Chantal. Not anymore. But when I was a bulimic, chain-smoking, 300-pound alcoholic, I was about as lovable as her. There wasn't a hell of a long line to get to me, and there is not to get to her either. I don't care what she says. I don't care what she says. I can make a very cold comment now about this being a shallow world, and if I were a less nice person, I would say, of course the bald 400-pound chick buys lovers. Who the fuck would be with her? Now that's cruel, and that's a little slanted, but I think for a lot of people, the cold read is just that. And that anything trying to explain that people aren't seeing what they're seeing is just some attempt at, again, distraction, that kind of thing. You do something, she does something big, disgusting. Let's talk about Cuba, Cuba Beast, the one where we went off about, eugenics or whatever. And no one was like, it's not like I thought highly of her up until then. I don't dislike Chantal, but I wouldn't keep a friend who treated me like that, or who sought revenge, or who shows screenshots like we're 12. He showed his receipts. I'm sick of receipts. If one more person has a receipt, I'm going to tell him to eat it. Yes, you said this. Yes, you said that. Well, then you say this. Everyone thinks it makes them, look better, or that they're vindicated if they show texts about something. Her showing these texts only demonstrated how lonely, desperate, sad the whole situation really is. And I don't know, but this isn't gonna work. This ain't sis. This isn't how life's gonna go, I don't think. But if we're here both in 8 years, we'll see. She presents herself as somewhere in between kind of a goddess and a sloth. It's sort of somewhere in the middle. Jealous people are jealous of her life. We've been told this. Well, not me. I'm not a VIB. I was briefly, maybe a year ago. Fact check me on that. It was right when all this started with that, or no, so it would have been just about, if not less, a year ago, that I bought a subscription for $5, a membership, and then I sent a message into the super chat that I thought was supportive to someone going through a rough time. I took it back the next day and deleted the account right after, though I had another month access to it. So I'm not immune to getting sucked into this shit, and I usually think I have a pretty good eye for people who are trying to emotionally blackmail everyone in their life. But I couldn't, I didn't see it at the time. And then it became more obvious and more obvious and more obvious until it's obvious to everyone but her. And that part's sad to watch, but the Germans have a word, Schadenfreude. Look it up. You probably already know what it is. Pleasure in the misfortune of others. I don't want to see anyone do anything bad to Chantal. I don't want to do anything to disrupt her life or be bad to her either. But things happen. Things happen. Sometimes karma starts in this world. That the feeling of loneliness, desperation, the Prozac's not doing it. I'm almost tapped out on edibles. I can't be around Natter when he does drugs. And so again, just to reiterate, people don't have to love us just because we give them money. They're not beholden to us. Just because I like you doesn't mean you have to like me. And if you don't, I'm going to chase you down. Desperation and stalking are also not cute. That's not like, oh, isn't it cute? She put the rabbit in the sink, drowned it. I didn't want to say the boy and fatal attraction one. Okay. So into this week, her smug entitled self, which is kind of a little focus here. She presents herself as somewhere between, like I said, a goddess and a sloth. She wants all the respect of a respectable person, but will do gauche and unrespectable things. And then anyone who calls her on it will just say farting, shitting your pants on camera, whatever. And then flashing it. Ugh. There's a want to be noticed and a want to be liked and a want to be known. I don't know if she cares what she's known for. There's a breed of YouTubers, a few which I follow, which they want to be famous. They want to hit it. Chantal has mentioned, not often, but often enough, if the channel hits it big. To me, she's pretty big because she's got 80,000 subs. But in the YouTube landscape, she's a fart in the wind because there's a lot of people who have dramatic channels with dramatic lives who think everyone's interested in the fine details of a relationship that's concocted. So now that I think we're going to be going forward hopefully out of Natter, we're going to treat a bunch of new guys the same way because we've learned nothing. The next guy will also get his own hotel. second to her credit card. Well, not her credit card, her debit card, her credit shit. And have them be in the life. But Natter starts over and over again with new women. Chantal being not as dissimilar from him as she would hope. She's a lot more like Natter than I think she would like to admit. The ugly parts that he hides off camera, she just wears like a robe. She wears like a badge of honor, you know. So, at any rate, flashing the audience as if there's anything worth seeing. This is about 8, 9 times. Okay, this isn't about YouTube should be catching it, because I think they should. And not necessarily yank her channel, but if you break TOS, there's usually consequences. Well, it depends who you are, there's consequences. It depends how it was getting YouTube's attention. How did people go about that? The idea that I would make a video and that I don't like somebody, I'm going to suggest to all the people in my chat to go over there and harass them. If a day comes when I do that, unsubscribe. Because I don't deserve y'all if I would even ask that. As far as being entitled, again with Natter, it's not so much Natter, but Dee Dee also. Dee Dee swept in, took her man, and left. And Chantal is not probably happy about that. She's trying to paint the picture of, you know, I didn't want to be there, and no one invited you. I don't want to be there when she's there. No one asked you to come over. No one asked you to come. If you drive by at 4 o'clock in the morning and peek in windows, why don't you go over at like 3 in the afternoon? And is he at work? Possibly. As much as you are. So, I don't know. She fell for this, and she's still not getting it. And she defended him, alibied him, went to the police and then reneged on a accusation of abuse, sexual abuse, because I like the guy. It's only illegal when she's upset. It's only wrong when she's upset. Otherwise, it's like not that big of a deal. This relationship story that's only real to her, and then she told people to shut up about it and block comments or stop comments across the whole channel. Reality clashes with her narrative a lot, and when she's called onto the carpet for it, especially if it's like a mistruth or she's lying, she will usually say something to the effect of, what, you never told a lie? Oh, I have to be perfect to have a good life? Get off the fucking cross. First of all, that little martyr shit, that's why you're single. But also, if you have an estrangement from your family, that kind of attitude sucks. People don't like to spend time with people that are entitled and self-important. They just don't. And it doesn't matter if you're a gazillionaire or if you're bussing tables. You know, it's whatever. You can carry yourself with dignity. You don't have to make 15 grand a month to have dignity. Dignity is free. And she just doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. So using your chat as a lawyer is dumb. Even if there is a lawyer in your chat, they're not on retainer just for the $5 VIBs payment. So when she gets mad, she'll ask if she was talking to VIPs and asking, guys, I guess Natter, among other things, had screenshotted a bunch and showed it on his channel and had a recording of her. And she was confused about whether or not that's legal or illegal. As far as I know, it's perfectly legal. It sounds backwards. Here's what Canada has to say about it. But essentially, if 2 or more people are having a conversation and one of the parties present knows that they're being recorded, then it's on the up and up. I could be the one, if it's Marc and I can record him without him knowing, but because I know, I count as the one person who consented, which means, yes, I can record him without his permission. She had some questions about whether that was possible. Like I said, that's what I found out from Canada and what they do. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Any way to try to shut down communication. Don't say this, don't say that. People who are like totally open books and honest don't have this many distractions in their life. Like they don't have this much shit going on. Normal people, I'm going to say normal, average, regular, the median of people don't act like she acts. I think there's a lot of confusion with people too. Like, she's so disgusting, but how does she make such good money? well, ill-gotten gains and kind of like that, like easy money is easily lost. Like, how do you go broke and get a payday loan when you make 15 grand a month? What this fuck kind of stupid shit are you buying? You know, besides trying to buy a man's love by giving him money to gamble with and to make a lot of shitty food. Remember how good a cook Natter was? Until they fell apart. And she loved and loved. She sat there like Dee Dee and put on a fake smile and pretended to like all that horse shit too. The baba ganoush, it looked like baby shit. So that's her deflection. Deflecting, again, using other people's lives to distract something about hers. And she went at a few this week, not all of them, because she had it hard on for reactors. It better watch out. So she laid a couple people out that I had noticed. And again, she made herself look ridiculous in each one. We'll start with Monty. For example, you guys know Monty, stories from the internet. He has nice glasses. They're thicker than mine. And has panels, and he's very chill. And I would say, as far as a reputation among other people who do reactions and reviews, he's well enough liked. There might have been one time he jumped the gun on some information, I think. But otherwise, he's chill. And he's got a good voice, too. It's very, very relaxing voice. His mother had passed away this week, I believe, earlier this week. And he was still live the next day. He was doing another live. So Chantal, ever the model of compassion, says, how come I get shit when my grandmother died? And they didn't think I spent enough time with him, but he can go on panel the next day. First of all, I'm sure he was a hell of a lot closer with his mother than you are with your grandmother. At least he's more honest, probably. Also, disgustingly swore on your dead grandmother's life. And then afterwards, when you got called on the carpet for lying again, I think Grandma would have understood. That is so stupid. That is so stupid. You know, people can have, complicated lives, but it's so self-induced. Every relationship he has is strained by her presence in it. So, just breezing today. Y'all know her. I'll put her picture up here. She's not as well known. Doll. She's a lovely woman with a lovely channel.
I'm glad you're mentioning her.
Just breezing? Yeah, she's a good egg. And what she'll do, a lot of her channel is, it's not the entire thing, but what I see more often is that she'll bring up a post or the comment section from a video. So she'll real quickly say what's in the video of Chantal's, show the comments and the reactions, and she narrates it. She's not on camera herself. She narrates. So it's not a bad resource, actually. She does a little bit of, it's not archiving, but if Chantal's on for 3 hours, around hour number 2, if something sort of interesting happened during hour number 1, she'll put it up before the live's even over. So she came after her, trying to call her out, trying to call her a bitch. Look, that woman is nicer than me. Much. She makes Marc and I look like friggin' Stalin. And Hitler. She's sweet. She's a doll baby. And she liked Chantal until she got to know her. And then she didn't like her anymore. Often with folks in recovery, mental illness, stuff like that, there's a thinking that I know I had is if people really knew me, they wouldn't like me. And that's kind of an esteem thing, whatever. Or if you don't like me, I'm going to make you hate me. She's a little bit closer to that, I think. But I can't. So, yeah, leave Just Breezing alone. She's just doing her thing, okay? And she's lovely, and I think so. Just leave her alone, okay? Let's see. Who else? Amber Lynn Reed reared her head. She must have come up for air. And had a conflict, or the beginnings of a conflict this week, with Chantal. So how in the fuck did Amber Lynn Reed come in this out of nowhere? Usually it's Chantal trying to align herself with somebody doing something else. They have kind of a frenemy, enemy, probably have collaborated on some sneaky things together because, sisters, womanhood, all the like. But she apologized. She was upset with Amber because Amber, I don't know as much about her as most people. I don't follow her. It's too disgusting. But Amber had given something close to an apology to Natter because Amber didn't realize what was going on in the situation from his perspective. So this upsets, so she says this, And this upset Chantal. She was very upset about it. She said, why did you, Amberlynn's version is that her therapist told her in order to, I don't know, clear her mind or something, to offer forgiveness and give an apology to someone who you've hurt or bullied. She seemed to pick Natter. Nice choice. But, so she used that to say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this, that about Foodie Beauty. And then Foodie Beauty criticizes her loyalty to her. Loyalty? Do I have to say anything? If you have to hear that, Chantal lacks integrity and dignity. Big news, tear out the front page. In other news, water is wet. But this was a swing up at Amberlynn Reid. Usually Chantal swings down like most trash bags do. If you want to fight the power, that's fine. But you don't stand in the middle and kick people under you so you can feel like you have the power. That's not cool either. That's really transparent to people who are healthier than her in that way. So, for fuck's sake, if you have to ask about loyalty, like I said, she'll never know. She doesn't understand what loyalty is. It's very fleeting. It's very fickle. I'm loyal. She has no ride or dies. Not even Pete's. She'd sell them to the gypsies for a handful of beans if she thought that she can get a Nashi too. So, she doesn't, it's self-centered in a way that I haven't seen in a long time. And I spend a lot of time in and around people who live with substance use disorders. Now, that doesn't always mean lying, scheming, and having a grimy life, but often it can for people who get very sick before they hopefully get better. She's too self-centered to be there for anybody else, I think. Like, oh, Pete's, I know you're unsafe right now, but I have to drive to Montreal and sit in an empty motel room and try to ploy a man who doesn't love me to come over by offering cigarettes and booze. Sorry you're stupid. Sorry you don't feel like yourself today. Pete's has gotten better at telling her off, too. He'll throw in a good dig here and there. Better being two-faced or a pushover or mean, or he says what she smells like, and I don't know. She probably smells like an Italian deli, I think. That's my guess. So, where do we go from here? And this week's review is only a little shorter because there was so many repetitions of the same thing. Like, how many videos saying you're definitely trying not to get someone's attention when you obviously are. Saying you're not jealous and you're not hurt. And then going off like a fucking 12-year-old. You don't look at Didi. She's you. She's you. She's handing him her money, allegedly, and taking care of him. When you went over the first night to go see Natter, somebody was there already. It was a girl crying, saying she was his girlfriend. That's you too. So whether you were, you might have been manipulated. Chantal might have been manipulated by him. But her intentions weren't pure at all. She attempted to buy power in a relationship by seeking out a man who, in some ways, is vulnerable. Hear out my vulnerable. He has poor English skills. I don't know if he speaks any French. I mean, they're in Quebec. He has limited work history, probably. If he says he was a chef, I don't think he kept the job very long, if you've seen any of his food videos. Not technique necessarily. Yeah, he curls his fingers back when he cuts. But, I mean, I wouldn't feed that shit to anybody. It's raw chicken. That thing that was called lasagna, the spackling he made when he was going to make mac and cheese. You don't have to be in the kitchen. And again, it's so funny because Chantal went off about how good of a cook he was. And now it's the kind of shit that, you make mud pies when you're playing camping as kids. It's like that. So going forward, what do we have? I don't know if Natter will be as mentioned as much. We got the 22nd. It's about a week and a half, 2 weeks away until she gets paid again. Usually the big Natter drama over the months would be after payday and then up until about now, pretty much. Then she does stupid attention seeking. She's going to be relying on super chats for all that kind of stuff. So by the time they come back together again for more drama, it'll probably be, I don't know, the 21st, 22nd. It's like they work 10 days, take off 10 days, that kind of thing. So I think she'll have more men coming up that are real, possibly real, but probably not in her circumstances. More stories about her being young and free and single and having, casual sex and dating younger men and this and that. And she can do whatever she wants. Make sure you're using condoms, though, because you've contracted 2 social diseases in the last year. From the same guy, allegedly. Unless you were whoring around like he was. So, it's really feign superiority if you must. But we're not stupid. We've seen everything. We've seen everything that was going on. And, if you want to put on more filters to attract more fake guys, the filtering is like, it's a little petty, but it's not. It's a little petty because, like, who cares? A lot of people do. I don't do it. We just had a really old phone for the first couple years we had the channel, and it hides everything anyway. Now it's like, oh, you can see every crease, every wrinkle, every pore. But I don't filter. She does filter. And when she's doing her makeup and shit, she's doing it in the camera with the filter on. So she doesn't even know what she really looks like. And there's plenty of undoctored pictures of her that show she doesn't appear to be the delicate flower that I think she believes she is. The flatulent, delicate flower that she is. So she has zero room to talk about other people's preferences, lifestyles, any of that kind of stuff. People who, again, live in glass pancake houses shouldn't throw stones. They just really, really shouldn't. And I would say this is karma. I would say I know it's supposed to be like in the next life, but sometimes what comes around goes around. And she does it in such a small circle that she's going to get it. It's going to come back. It'll come back. We've all been saying it, and we're all wondering when. And I'd be half lying if I didn't say I just kind of want to see the end of this. Not so that she gets what's coming to her, because I don't know. What she probably has coming to her and what I think are probably different. She probably has a lot more coming. And unless she ducks out of life early, she's either going to have to live with it, deny it for the rest of her life, live in a whole life full of lies and deceit, and she can carry on like that and tell everyone you're happy and tell everyone you love your new hair and tell everyone you lost weight. And people aren't blind. They know. And people who have previous experiences know what real abuse sounds like and what trying to get your boyfriend in trouble sounds like. It's especially grimy because he ain't your boyfriend. You're just some dude that you're sleeping with, or he's sleeping with you, or you're paying him, or whatever. And then you got mad, so you went to the police for charges against him, too. So wrong. Abuse systems, waste the time of the courts, waste the time of the doctors, go get another test. If you don't give a shit about your health, why should I? Why should anyone else? But we can comment respectfully within terms of service. So thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for watching tonight. It's a hot day here. I'm gonna slip my little hat off and maybe go lie down in the air conditioning. So thank y'all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address, contact info, all that's below as well. Thank you again, and we'll be catching up with you tomorrow. We're going live at 6 p.m. Eastern. For an hour live. It's every Sunday we do it. It's pretty chill. We have good mods. It's the cool side of the pillow. So if you're free, don't hesitate to stop by tomorrow. Okay? Thanks for watching. Bye. Marc, say bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.